As suspected food contamination cases among young children rise, the Free State Department of Education has suspended all non-school managed vendors from selling. Advocate Tsoarelo Malakoane, head of the Department for Free State Education, joins me now. Advocate, a very good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. Take us through the department's rationale. Because you are only dealing with non-school managed vendor activities while allowing those that are operating within the schools to operate. Take us through the rationale of that decision, if you will.
No, thank you very much, Vuyo and the viewers at home. The rationale is predicated on our responsibilities as the department, because you'd understand that we stand in loco parentis. We are parents as soon as learners enter the four corners of the schoolyard. What we have done, we have found that we've got a number of learners who presented with serious, I would say, reactions to what they have consumed, allegedly snacks, chips, chocolates and biscuits, and they presented with stomach cramps. Others were itching, and then the others were vomiting, and others had diarrhea. When we are confronted with this situation, noting that it became technically pervasive where we stand, because we had this incidents in 6 towns, 6 schools, and affected 128 learners in 4 of our 5 districts. So we were enjoined by law as the MEC, as the executing authority, and myself as the HOD, as the accounting officer, to act expeditiously and also ensure that the spread of this scourge does not affect the totality of our learner population. More importantly, it was affecting the most vulnerable of our learner ecosystem, which is our primary school learners.
But then how do you know for sure that school-managed vendors are safer?
No, it does not mean. We've got 2 categories here. And even our response was not like blanket. We only wanted to deal with a sale of goods or sale of these commodities and from our learners, from outside and inside vendors that may not have been vetted. Only school tuck shops, where the principals are in control of what the learners are consuming, were actually the ones that were excluded from this ban. And I must say, this is just a temporary manner or a temporary measure, noting that we currently have a situation where we've got multi-stakeholders that are on the brief. We've got Department of Health, we've got the SAPS, we've got our own department, and we also got our local department responsible for environmental affairs. They are actually trying to trace these contaminated goods to their place of origin. And that investigation is still ongoing. And whilst the investigation is ongoing, we cannot roll over and play dead and allow the situation to be exacerbated. So we took that decision, guardedly so. And I must stress, it's a temporary decision that will also be predicated on the development of what we call standard operating procedures. And we need to implement them to ensure that we control the school environment and control what our children consume within the 4 corners of the school. And secondly, we will now know that even the president has become very alarmed by the demise of a number of learners who have actually, lost their lives during school hours after ingesting this kind of food substances. And now there is also a meeting, and also under the auspices of the Minister of COCTA, to ensure that this matter is dealt with expeditiously. So in the interim, whilst we're still awaiting that process, we are enjoined by our responsibilities, fiduciary responsibilities at that, to ensure that we actually put interim measures whilst that process is actually unfolding.
But I mean, it's one thing to be seen to be doing something. It's quite another to be effective at what you are doing. In other words, can you vouch for your supervisory and inspections and all those things that you need to actually put in place?
We have ensured that principals provide a list of all vendors of tuck shops that we have, so that we can actually determine the size of our ecosystem and the size of what we need to manage. And there will be monitoring of what children consume and who is in the periphery of the school and inside the school. This is the fiduciary responsibility of our principals and school management teams, as well as members of our SGBs who have been supporting us throughout in this endeavor.
But do you have the capacity to actually do this work? In other words, it's not going to be a box-ticking exercise. It's going to be effective. You're going to do this regularly, and everything that goes with that.
We do have the requisite capacity. We have communicated even to our QLTCs who are fit for purpose, who also would support of the SAPS and other departments, but the school community has taken responsibility on this. If we were to hear the number of messages that the SGB chairpersons disseminated throughout to ensure that they work together with us, I think we're on course, Vuyo. There's nothing to really worry about. And we are renowned for that as the responsible school environment.
Advocate Malakoane, let me thank you very much for your time. He's, of course, the HOD in the Free State Education Department. We're going to take